Picture a 5-month-old baby, too young to talk, too young to even understand what danger means. Show that baby a photo of a flower and a photo of a snake side by side. Researchers have actually done this, and the baby's pupils dilate faster, wider, at the snake. Not because anyone taught them what a snake is, not because they have ever been bitten. Something in that barely formed nervous system already knows to pay attention. Now think about how strange that actually is. Statistically, in most of the developed world, you are more likely to be seriously hurt by a set of stairs, a kitchen knife, or a bathtub than by a snake or a spider. And yet, ask a room full of adults what scares them the most. And snakes and spiders show up near the top of the list, again and again, across almost every culture on Earth. City dwellers who have never seen a wild snake in their life still flinch at one on a screen. People who grew up somewhere without dangerous spiders still feel that same skin-crawling reaction. This is not really about danger in the modern sense. This is about something scientists call the fear module, a phrase coined by psychologists Arne Öhman and Mineka. And their theory is genuinely fascinating. They argued that humans, and primates more broadly, evolved a dedicated, specialized system in the brain, built specifically to detect and react to ancestral threats. Not threats in general. Specific ones. Snakes, spiders, the exact kinds of creatures that for tens of millions of years posed a very real, very lethal risk to our ancestors long before humans existed at all. So how do you prove a fear is built in, instead of just learned from a scary movie or a bad childhood memory? This is where the research gets genuinely wild. Psychologist Vanessa Lobu and developmental scientist Judy Deloche ran a now famous series of experiments. They showed toddlers, some as young as 3 years old, arrays of images and asked them to find the snake hidden among flowers or the spider hidden among mushrooms. Over and over, the children spotted the snake and the spider faster than any other image, faster than a frog, faster than a caterpillar. Their brains, still years away from full development, were somehow already tuned to detect that exact shape. Then there is the primate research, which might be even more convincing. In the 1980s, Mineka ran a series of experiments with rhesus monkeys. Monkeys raised in labs, who had never once encountered a real snake, showed no fear of one at first, but showed that same lab-raised monkey a video of a wild monkey reacting fearfully to a snake. Just one viewing, and the fear appeared almost instantly, and it stuck permanently. Here is the critical part of the experiment, though. Mineka also tried the reverse. She showed lab monkeys videos edited to make it look like a wild monkey was terrified of a flower instead of a snake. It did not work. The fear simply refused to transfer. Monkeys could learn to fear snakes almost instantly, but they could not be taught, even with identical footage, to fear a flower in the same way. That result matters enormously. It suggests the fear is not randomly learned from any scary experience. It is more like a switch that is already wired in, just waiting for a small trigger to flip it on. Some researchers, including anthropologist Linus Bell, have gone even further, proposing what is known as the snake detection theory. Bell theorizes that snakes may have been one of the primary evolutionary pressures that shaped primate vision itself, pushing for sharper color vision and wider fields of view, specifically to spot camouflaged predators hiding in the grass. It is a contested idea, and not every researcher agrees on how large a role snakes played, but the fact that it is a serious, ongoing scientific debate says something on its own. Here's where things get almost unfair, in a strange evolutionary way. Snake bites and spider bites, historically, killed our ancestors with total indifference to intelligence, strength, or social status. A single bite, and it was over, sometimes within minutes. Across millions of years, individuals whose brains reacted instantly, before conscious thought even had time to kick in, were simply more likely to survive and pass that trait forward. Slow, deliberate risk assessment does not help you when the threat can kill you in under 60 seconds. Neuroscientist Joseph Liddell mapped out part of the biological mechanism behind this. There is a shortcut pathway in the brain, sometimes called the low road, that routes threatening visual information directly to the amygdala, bypassing the slower, more analytical visual cortex almost entirely. Öhman's own lab found that participants shown rapid subliminal images of snakes and spiders, flashed too fast for conscious recognition, still showed a measurable stress response. Their bodies reacted to a threat. Their conscious mind never even registered. Compare that to modern threats. Cars, electrical outlets, sugar, guns. These kill far more people today than snakes or spiders ever could. But Öhman research also found something telling. In laboratory conditioning experiments, subjects learned to fear snake and spider images almost instantly, and that fear resisted extinction, meaning it was hard to unlearn even after repeated safe exposure. But subjects struggled to form the same instant, sticky fear response toward modern objects like guns or frayed wires. Even when researchers deliberately paired those images with unpleasant stimuli, our fear circuitry, it seems, is still running ancient software, built for an ancient world, layered underneath modern brain that knows better but cannot always override it. For most people, this ancient wiring shows up as a manageable flinch, a small jump, a moment of discomfort that fades quickly. But for some, that same ancient circuit runs hot, and the result is ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes, or arachnophobia, the fear of spiders, two of the most commonly diagnosed specific phobias worldwide. Researchers studying these phobias generally believe they represent this evolutionary fear module operating at an extreme, amplified volume, sometimes triggered by a single early experience, sometimes seemingly with no clear trigger at all. What makes this whole story so striking is what it reveals about being human. Somewhere, underneath every rational, modern, statistical, literate brain, there is a much older system still standing guard, still scanning the grass for movement, still built for a world most of us will never actually live in again. You can know, with complete confidence, that the spider in the corner of your bathroom is harmless, and your heart will still skip a beat anyway. That is not irrational. That is 10 million years of ancestors who did not skip that beat. And make it to pass their genes forward. The ones who did survive, they are the reason you flinch first and think second. And somewhere in the back of your mind, that old alarm is still doing exactly the job it was built to do.
Achoo!